You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph. It is Friday, May 16th. Back here again with my Friday co-host, Wayne. Wayne, how you doing, man?
Good. Schedule's here. Now we know where we get to dominate. You know what I'm saying? Domination. That's all I want to talk about.
Let's go. Exactly. Yes. Me and Wayne are going to be going through the schedule, giving our way too early predictions. We're going to have some fun today. First, before we get into anything, shout out to Sam for being a new YouTube member on the channel. Appreciate you, Sam. Appreciate all of you that are also tuning in today. But Wayne, yeah, you excited about the schedule? I mean, we already knew it was going to be the easiest schedule for this team in the NFL based on the win percentage of the teams last year that they're facing this year. Yeah. But let's take a quick look at the 49ers schedule by the numbers. So no international games, no holiday games, 4 total games against 2024 playoff teams, which isn't that bad, you know, all things considered. 5 primetime games. It's a little bit more than I was expecting, Wayne, but I could dig it, you know. 5 is good. 6 road games in the first half of the season, so that's quite a lot. And 9+ rest days differential. That is a positive, and that's a big difference from last year when the 49ers just got hosed basically with the rest day differential. They were tired by the end of it. Week 14 bye week, pretty late. But what do you think, just looking at these numbers here, how they kind of feel for the 49ers this year?
I mean, they just seem to be in the Niners' favor, right? They don't have to travel across seas. They don't have to worry about playing on, you know, them holiday games. They can go spend time with their family. You know, the primetime games, look, I had us getting 4. I'll take 5. The Niners are still that team that people want to watch on TV, and depending on who they play, people want to see that. Listen, I understand that games could get flexed because a couple of those primetime games are toward the end of the season, but we'll see what happens. 6 road games in the first half of the season. That could be where the Niners got to figure out how to get their bang for the buck, because that could be a little interesting. And the Week 14 bye, I think, to me, is just a gift. Like, you know, you ever play one of them games, shooting games, you pick up the health the health package, right? And I just feel like that's a gift for the Niners. Late bye, and then they get to kind of go into that last quarter of the season and just bang, bang, you know.
Bang, bang. Yes. I mean, it's a little later than, you know, I normally like bye weeks to be, but the seasons are so long now, Wayne, and especially for a team that is hoping to get back into the playoff race. If they do, that Week 14 bye could make a big difference for them. And of course, fantasy teams, make sure you remember Week 14 bye is going to be late in the season. But let's take a detailed look at the schedule now. So we already talked about the 6 away games in the first half of the season. So quite a lot there. And they kind of go back and forth between, you know, 2 away games to start the season against the Seahawks and then the Saints. And then they got 2 at home against the Cardinals and Jags. And then they're back on the road for 2 more away games against the Rams and the Bucks. And that's where they get one of those Thursday night football games. The only Thursday night football game that they're going to have this year, thankfully, but one of those primetime games. So that'll give them the positive rest differential against the Bucks the following week. Want to look at silver linings.
Yeah, they'll get extra time off, right? Like, because it's a Thursday game and then they don't play again till Sunday. So that's extra time. That's 3 days. That's 3 extra days where the Niners can get rest, even though they still have to travel. So you can factor that in as far as rest, but they still got to travel, and it's from West Coast to East Coast. So let's just keep it a buck. That can be an issue. But at the end of it, and on top of that, we're talking about back-to-back teams that were in the playoffs last year, right? Like, so those 2 tough away games could be a little bit of a problem for the 49ers. Could be.
I mean, as far as like tough stretches in this schedule, I remember last year we looked at that schedule and we were like,
gauntlets,
there were 2 gauntlets. There was like a mini one and there was like a big one. There's not really a big gauntlet, I think, this year. I feel like most people are going to talk about the week 5 down to maybe week 8. So you play the Rams, Bucks. You mentioned 2 of those playoff teams there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Falcons that I would expect to be better this year. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Texans, right? So do you kind of agree that that's kind of the tough stretch of this year's schedule for them?
Yeah, because in that stretch, Steph, there's 3 road games, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you get to play Sunday night back at home, which gives you more rest too. But then you're back on the road, and you got to play against a tough AFC opponent traveling out to Houston, and so that could be interesting. So you're going from the West Coast, like kind of, I guess Texas is the Midwest, I'm assuming. So still time differential for the 49ers, but I feel like I don't really see a gauntlet here. I just see a couple of could be difficult games. This is everything is just bearing injury for all teams too. So like we're just going off of the 90 men that we got, right?
Exactly.
So,
it's way too early. We're only going off of post draft, what these teams are looking like, and that's for not just the Niners, but like how we're kind of assessing their opponents as well. Some of these opponents may end up being better than what we think they're going to be, later in the season, or by the time the 49ers are playing them, they could have their ish together, and the 49ers suddenly have a tougher opponent on their hands. But yeah, I think that's kind of the tough stretch. And I want to ask you this, Wayne, is there one game here that you're kind of looking at like, that could be a trap game?
Man, it's hard, right? I trap games for the Niners with this particular type of schedule. It's going to be maybe that Giants game, right?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Same one.
And isn't that crazy though? Because I just talked about road game against Houston, get back on the airplane. Now you got to go to the East Coast, which it's not as far from the Midwest, but again, another travel game. And that game is an NFC conference game, right? And so that could be that one game where, the Niners might struggle playing early on a Sunday. On top of that, they got to play against a guy that I just feel like they can't beat. Like, I don't know what it is, man. And if Russell Wilson is the quarterback for some reason, he just kind of owns the 49ers. However he gets it done, he gets it done. I do believe that the 49ers is a much better offense than the last time we played Russell with the Broncos. Broncos still had a tough defense, but the Giants have kind of like that young, vibrant type of defense the Broncos had when we played them. And if you remember, wasn't that game like 11-10 or something like that?
It was a gross game.
It was a gross game. I'm talking about the pick 8 or pick whatever. So anyway, my point is that could be a trap game. It just can be. And it's late in the season. Well, toward the middle, going toward the end of the season. It's the first game in November when football really matters. Yeah.
And Kyle Shanahan, if you look back at his record by month, he actually has a pretty good, record
in November.
October is awful for Kyle Shanahan for whatever reason, but November is great. So, to that point, that first game could maybe end up being good. But I'm with you. When I was thinking of potential trap games, like for some reason, that was the one that I was thinking. Early body clock game. It's the second game of a 2 back-to-back travel games for them. It's on the East Coast, so you're going a little further than usual. And I don't know, you've been traveling a lot in the first half of the season, right? So like that's kind of at that point you might be gassed just a little bit. And remember, you haven't had your bye week yet.
There you go. And I was going to say, I mean, for me, I like the later bye week. Would have preferred it week 11, week 12. But I still like it because it's kind of like, here's why I like it. I feel like the Niners will have to dig deep, right? Because they're going to be tired. They're going to be battered. They're going to be bruised. They're going to be beat up. But this is where they mentally get tough. This is where the grit needs to start to show because they'll get a break. And then that one break, that week off going into the last quarter of the season is where I think they can kind of flip that switch opposed to getting it around week 8, week 9 is where we normally get it. But that's why I kind of like the bye week. It's just going to show how gritty of a team we are, how resilient of a team we are with this new kind of like younger regime, especially defensively. But they're young, and you're hoping it's going to take time for them to kind of gel. You know what I mean? The offense, I feel like Steph should be clicking. I mean, you only really lost Debo Samuel as a playmaker, and if you really were high on Aaron Banks, you lost Aaron Banks. But at the end of the day, like, your offense should be clicking because you're getting back a CMC to add to that offense.
I agree. I think the offense is going to have to carry this team for probably that first half of the season. And we got a Packers fan saying, thanks for Aaron Banks.
I have no problem, man. You're more than welcome.
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
take
have
that to the bank.
You can have him. You can have him, Ken. But yeah, I think the offense is going to have to carry. And, I think it'll take the defense some time. You're going to have a lot of rookies starting, so there's going to be mistakes there that may cost you some drives, may cost you some points at times, but that's where the offense is going to have to come in. And the offense, for the most part, did not change, and you can even argue that it improved a little bit, or it's going to improve because you got guys coming back from injury, right? So I'm looking at the offense this year as being that one side of the ball that has absolutely no excuses for getting it together and getting it together fast. Like, they shouldn't miss a beat, Wayne, right? Like, they don't have anything to figure out.
I'm it's, the thing about the offensive line, you get Trent Williams back. Hopefully he's ready, full swing, ready to go. And you're really just trying to figure out that one spot. I mean, the key to the offensive line coming back, and maybe why Kyle and Forrester didn't want to make so many changes, is just the continuity of having those guys out there just playing together, where they could communicate without talking and things like that. As bad as the offensive line was last year, they still weren't ranked the worst. Like, they were in the middle of the pack. It's crazy, but it's true. Sometimes we want to go statistics, sometimes we don't. We know what the eyes show. To me, Steph, if the offensive line issue last year were bonehead penalties. And so those cost a lot of first down drives to be negated, big explosive plays to be negated. That's what they need to clean up. So I'm hoping that's what gets cleaned up this year for the offensive line. But like you said, you're getting back Christian McCaffrey. I don't really feel like there's going to be any excuses. You didn't play the majority of the season without Brandon Ayuk, and you figured out the wide receivers. So Colin and Clay, they should be in their bag.
Yeah, so no excuses for the offense. I'll have some excuses for the defense, early in the season at least.
A lot of young players.
Saleh. I mean, Saleh knows what he's doing, obviously, as a defensive coordinator. And I think, him coming back to the 49ers, it's almost like he knows a little bit more than he did when, he first became the defensive coordinator. He's talked about that. Like, his experience as a head coach, I think, will make him a better defensive coordinator. But, yeah, I still think as the team as a whole, I don't think has a lot of excuses, Wayne, just to not be better than they were last year. And the bar's pretty low, 6-11 record. I'm expecting a way better record than that. You have an easy schedule. You have a positive rest differential. It's put up or shut up time for them.
Yeah, everything's in their favor to destined to be great. I mean, I think everybody wants to see the 49ers potentially go undefeated, right? In the regular season and in the playoffs and the postseason.
We would all love to see that.
Right? That's what we all would love to see. Why not? I mean, this is kind of like what's laid out for us. And if the 49ers, all right, offensively, if they handle their P's and Q's and they have a couple of brain farts defensively, if the offense is putting up enough points, that means the offenses we got to play against got to put up enough points to outscore the offense. I know what I got you. Listen, I'm with you 100%. I mean, this has got to be the year where Kyle and Clay, and you know what? If Clay is really, if the offensive coordinator, we know Kyle's going to be calling plays, but at the end of the day, I want to see them. I want to see more creativity when need be. That doesn't mean it needs to be a creative play every single down. I just want to see creativity when need be, okay? Like, pull out that card when you need it. But I don't feel like this offense should struggle. And we're playing against some, I think, defenses that are going to be a lot better than what we see on this schedule. I think the Seahawks defense is going to be better. The Saints got a defense. Let's not act like they don't have a defense. The Cardinals only built defensively. Like that, they're built to beat the 49ers. Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I mean, we got to play Travis Hunter and the guys. We talked with the Rams. We already know how the Rams play. The Bucks defensive minded. Again, Falcons defense. These are all Texans, Giants. They all address Panthers, Browns. They all have addressed their defenses. So as easy as it looks or appears, I expect the Niners offense to trump these defenses, especially because most of them are young. They have to. Yeah.
They have to. All right, Wayne, let's get into a way too early record prediction here. And if you don't mind, well, let's go through each game and just see what we think. In fact, let me get my little notepad out because we might deviate a little bit on these, you know?
Yeah, and it's cool. The back-to-back road games I feel like it's going to be a little bit more tough than what most people think, right? And when you just look at the teams, and how they're built and how they're stacked, I can see us losing against Seattle week 1, and that being, but I don't expect us to. I'm just saying I could see us losing that game, and then I see them rebounding against a young quarterback in New Orleans in week 2. So I'll go with a loss against the Seahawks in week 1, and then I'll go win in week 2. So those are my first 2 road games.
Week 2. You know what? I hate that I got to do this.
Uh-oh.
But look, okay. Normally I do come up with like a couple of predictions because I go like kind of worst case scenario and then I go like best case scenario, like what I'm thinking, what I'm hoping this team will look like. And then it's kind of somewhere in the middle. But for this one, I'll be somewhere in the middle, I guess. So I'm with you, Wayne. I think that first one could be tough. I think it's very possible the 49ers lose on either defensive mistake or
close game,
a special teams mistake, just something, small margin of error. And, late in the game, it's going to unravel. All right.
Or we just lose by a field goal and they got the ball last. They're at home and they just win by a field goal. Like either way, I feel like that game is going to be a lot tougher than it appears. I expect us to win, though. Let me just make myself clear. Like, I'm expecting us to beat Seattle, especially the way we lost. But it's Sam Darnold. We can't beat him. We can't beat him, right? And I think defensively they got better, and we'll see what happens. So,
I mean, I have a ton of respect for their head coach.
McDonald, absolutely. He literally built his defense.
Exactly. He's building that defense the way that he wants to. Year 1, like
he took what he had.
Building it from scratch. Yeah.
Yep. He took what he had, and he got rid of a lot of players. Remember, a lot of players. He just said, "Nope, you don't fit me." Right. And then this year, he was able to really address it in the draft. Right. He got the pieces he wanted. So we'll see how that puts together. But look, I'm keeping it a buck. I expect us to win, but I can see us losing that first game. But I feel like they bounce back. Let's go to the back-to-back home games, though. So Cardinals, I really don't feel like we're going to lose to the Cardinals. I don't care what the Cardinals have done offensively. I do know this. The San Francisco 49ers have built their defense to literally stop the run, okay? They addressed their defensive in the draft to stop the run, and the only reason why the Arizona Cardinals gave the Niners fits in the first place was because in the second half of games, James Conner went ape shit. Like, it was ridiculous, bro. Like, he had, 90 yards in the second half.
Always classic, right? Like, he always goes off.
It's not happen again. So that's a win, and that's a win. So that's double wins at home against the Cardinals and the Jags. The Jags just don't pose a threat to me. I feel like I'm just not sold on their quarterback play, and I just don't feel like he's going to be a problem for the Niners defense. By week 4, Niners defense should be salivating.
I agree. I think, you got a new head coach in Liam Cohen. So I think they'll figure it out. I definitely like Cohen more so than, some head coaches they've had in recent years.
They're going to be better for sure.
So they'll be better. But week 4, that's still that early part of the season where new head coaches, rookie quarterbacks, just as an example, like those are going to be the types of players or circumstances that'll make it easier early in the season to face because they're still trying to get everything together. So I think this one favors the 49ers in week 4. I got them winning that one too. So far, Wayne, we're on the same page as far as what we could see going down. Now let's get to week 5, Thursday night football against
we're not losing in prime time. You could give me 5 wins.
It's an away game.
I don't care. We're not losing in prime time. That's Levi South. It's different.
Yeah.
I know last year was last year, but man, going into those games last year, I felt like, in my opinion, Steph, we couldn't close those games. We couldn't close. Okay, those games were too close for comfort. We lost by Jake Moody field goal in one of those games. We just couldn't close out in those games. I think those games, I'm not saying they're going to be blowouts. I just feel like the Niners are definitely going to be on their P's and Q's. Kyle Shanahan to get back to winning against the Rams. I got us winning the Rams, and I got us beating the Bucs. The Bucs can't beat us either. I don't know what it is. They play good from time to time, but they can't close out against the 49ers.
This one I could see going either way because, yeah, those demons of fourth quarter pass could come back and bite the Niners if they don't have it all figured out.
For sure.
I do think the Rams offense has the potential for sure to be better this year.
They added Adams.
Dude, like, come on. They already had Puka? Like,
They added Adams.
So it's a short week. I get it. Like, we make the joke. It's Levi South. Yes, there's going to be a ton of 49er fans there. But I don't know. I think I'm going to give this one to the Rams.
That's cool. That sucks though. You got us going. You have us 0-2 in the division so far.
Ooh.
I don't. I have us 1-1. Just want people to understand.
Oh, okay.
I just don't see that we lose to this Rams team. I just don't feel that. I feel like
at all.
I feel at all. Look, Devontae Adams will get his, and everybody else I think will be on lock. And here's the thing: if they can't run the ball with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum and whoever else they drafted, I'm good, because then it's Matthew Stafford dropping back trying to get the ball to those guys.
But it's Matthew Stafford, like.
Yeah, but if he's trying to if you're forcing him to throw the ball, he makes mistakes. See, the issue is when he's not dropping back 3 steps, lined up under center, throwing the ball down the football field. The issue is when he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. So we got to find a way to eliminate that. And I know they got Puka Nacua, and that's going to be a tough matchup for whoever's lined up in the slot. That's why right now I got Trey Brown. I feel like he's going to be penciled in as the nickel back, and we'll see what
about Upton Stout? Respect Upton Stout.
No. I didn't get there yet, but I'm going to go with the guy that they signed in free agency, and as training camp comes along, Upton Stout I think is going to be up for the task.
Yeah, that Rams defensive line is like godly, man. Like, they got dogs. They got straight up dogs, and they're only going to be better with another year under their belt. I mean,
for sure.
A lot of these guys were first year, second years players.
I respect that line. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chalk it up to Brock Purdy having another year under his belt, knowing what that defensive line is going to be looking to do. And if I'm not mistaken, in that game, Braden Fisk and Byron Young were the 2 pieces that were really giving us fits. And I think they had an interception from a different defensive lineman. Oh no, it might have been Byron Young. If I'm not, I don't remember who it was.
Young was like a terror.
Yeah, he's a guy that I always talk about as being a big threat. I don't know why people don't talk about him more, but I remember
They
him.
will.
We seen him at the Senior Bowl the year we were there. Remember?
Yeah, and Fisk.
I
know we liked both of those dudes. So I was bummed they went to the Rams, but so that one, Wayne, I know we split on that one, but I can see that one going either way. I'll just say that. So.
It might be one of those games where how we lost to Seattle, we went to the Rams.
Yeah. All right. So next we got week 6 away.
I just feel like we play well against Tampa.
We do, and it's we're gonna have 3 extra days of rest. I like this for us. Early body clock game, so they could get off to a slow start. But look, I see them winning that one.
Yeah, man. Like as great as Baker does, I don't feel like he plays his best football against the 49ers. And I guarantee. Look, they got better, but they're still old somewhat in some ways on defense. And if I'm Brock Purdy, I'm testing out that new young cornerback that they got drafted, because we know Jamal Dean struggles. They usually struggle in the secondary. This is relatively early in the season, though, so we'll see how that pans out. They got a healthy Winfield. Dean. Their secondary is probably going to be strong, but I just feel like the Niners are going to play better. They're going to run the ball. Like we got to preface us running the ball. Most of these teams are going to try to stop the run, but that's the cool thing of having a guy like Christian McCaffrey. So I'm excited. I think we win that game though.
I think so too. So we got week 6 as a win. Week 7 back at home, Sunday Night Football, prime time against the Falcons. We're going to have an extra day of rest compared to them at that point. The Falcons are one of those teams that, like, for some reason, the 49ers have a hard time, like, beating in recent years when they have faced each other. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense because they're, like, not a good team and they haven't been. But I want to say this is going to be a win, Wayne. Sunday Night Football.
I got us winning every prime time game. Chalk it up as a W for me. I don't care how tough the Falcons play the 49ers. The last time we played the Falcons, I believe, was in Atlanta, and they just bully ball. Matter of fact, we lost that game from early because of the turnover. I don't know if you remember that. We turned the ball over. We fumbled the ball early. I felt like Isaiah Oliver was part of that. Anyway, I just really do. I respect Atlanta. I respect what they're doing. I'm not too sold on Michael Penix. They're going to have to run the ball a lot. Bijan Robinson will try to give us problems. He's a good outside zone runner. He can run in between the gaps as well. So that's going to be a new look. Last time we played him, I believe we faced, I can't remember the running backs, but they really pounded us, you know what I mean? Like on the ground with their running backs. I think their backup running back is still there too. I just can't think of his name.
Yeah, they have
light-skinned dude, kind of tough when he runs with the ball. Algier. I can't think of his first name though. But thank you,
Algier.
Tyler, there it is.
Yeah, they're committed to running the football. But like you said, if the 49ers defense, if we expect them to be better in run defense, which we do based on how they addressed it in the draft, then they might be able to handle the Falcons this time around. But yes, the Falcons 49ers connection goes far back, and
listen, the Falcons
have the Niners number.
We those two teams, the Falcons and the Saints, I don't care who plays for those two teams, they will play the 49ers like they're still in the NFC West. I don't know why, but for some reason, the Niners struggle against the Saints and the Falcons. It's just because it's something about the history, the nostalgia. Those are two former old NFC West teams. So they play us tough, believe it or not. It's so weird.
I know. Yes, and it was Mariota in that game. He had
the
game of his life. The best game of that season.
I believe that's
no sense. It defies all logic.
I believe that's the game. I was there, and I believe that's the game. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's the game where they were no longer sold on Samuel Womack. And I feel bad for him because him coming out, I never slotted him as the slot guy. This is why I don't feel like you put your third best corner on the roster as your slot guy, because it takes technique to play in the slot, right? And he just wasn't. He was an outside corner. And if you remember that game, that's the only game I remember Kyle Pitts ever being good in. And he's been in the league for several years. The only game.
That's what I'm saying. They had the game of their lives. That game pissed me off real bad. So hopefully this time around, the 49ers look better against the Falcons. Week 7, Sunday Night Football. We're counting on it. We're saying that's a win for them, for the Niners. All right, Week 8, another early body clock game back on the road against the Texans. It's a central game, so it's not 10 a.m. and they're central, right?
Yeah, they're central time. I have us losing this game, though. I just think this is going to be one of those war of attrition games coming down to the trenches, and it just doesn't go in the 49ers' favor. I'll leave it at that, but I could see us losing to Houston. Not because they're the better team. I feel like these teams are very equal at everything. Quarterback, running. I feel like we got a slight edge at the running back, but if you look at Joe Mixon, he does everything Christian McCaffrey does. Like you know what I mean? So they might have the better offensive line. I think they did lose couple of players, but their defense is stacked and have been playing together for a while. I will leave it at that. Like they got several all pros, I think, on their defense, or at least about to be all pros. So
they got some dogs.
They got some dogs. I'm gonna give Houston that one, and I'm not saying that because I love D'Amico. I think their team comes out on top.
You know what? I like this one I like the story around this one, the narrative that's going to surround this one. You got D'Amico on one end, and then you got Salah back on the other end, and then, Kyle and D'Amico used to always, go at each other play calling wise in practice. So I think anytime they face each other, anytime Kyle faces like a student of his, or not I don't want to call him a student because it's not the same side of the ball, but you know what I mean? Like someone who was under his coaching staff, he turns it up. I don't know what it is. He turns it up. I think we're going to see a turned up Kyle. He's going to throw the playbook at him. And I think Salah, it's going to be the same thing because, D'Amico was on his staff as well. So I'm saying that's going to be a win for the Niners. It'll feel like a statement game.
Okay.
Yeah, I got him winning that one.
I ain't mad at you.
But this Week 9 one was the one that we're like, that could be a trap game.
Ain't no way we lose it to the New York Football Giants. It's just not happening. I don't give if it's a trap game, crack game, you name it. We are not losing to the Giants. They're not going to come all the way over here and lose to this team. I don't care. They're just not. I got us winning this game. It's not a primetime game. It's just a regular 1 o'clock, 1:05 p.m. Eastern start game. But at the end of the day, the Niners, they're not going to lose to Russell Wilson and the Giants. It's just not happening. They got some dynamic weapons offensively, but we're talking an older Russ. And I don't think he's no longer a danger. He's just Russell Wilson now. I still think they struggle on the offensive line. I still think they struggle to run the ball. I just don't feel like offensively they'll be able to keep up. Now, I know they got a young, ferocious, fired up defense. I get it. But at the end of the day, I feel like our offense will trump them and our defense will keep their offense at bay. So it's going to be a fun game, but I got the Niners winning. Especially after coming off of a loss in Houston. You know
that the 49ers always lose a game that makes no sense.
This can't be that one.
I think I'm going to stick to my prediction that one is going to drive us nuts.
Respect.
Because it's not going to make any sense. Respect. Like there's no reason we should lose that game. I agree with everything you said, Wayne. Like it's a washed ass Russell Wilson. He ain't dangerous no more.
But what's going to happen is the Giants going to find a way to win this game. Right. And I got you.
Saying.
I got you.
Because look, there are games that are so weird like that where it's early body clock, you're on the road, and you're wondering why they can't do anything. It's like, this is not my team. Like, I don't recognize what I'm watching right now. I could see it being this game where, like, the offense comes out, looking stale and just, like, tired. I don't know. And that's fine because you had them losing in Week 8, so you have them winning and bouncing back in Week 9. So that makes sense. Correct. I have them pulling out the win in Week 8 against the Texans, which would have been a tough one. And I got them losing the following week. It could go either way. So I'm excited to see how that one plays out. But I'm going to stick to that one. I think Giants are going to be that game that pisses me off, and it's not going to make any sense at all. But listen, we got the Rams, another division game in Week 10, and I got them winning that one.
I have them winning it too. I have them sweeping the Rams this year. I just think Kyle gets back to Kyle against Sean McVay. Bad season last year, and it's at home. And when you go to and you look at how we lost those games last year, they were winnable games, right? Both of them. And so, I just feel like Kyle's going to get the best of the NFC West this year. I do have us losing that first one, and it's unfortunate, but I think he gets the best of the NFC West this year. So I have us beating the Rams, and then I have us beating the Cardinals. Not gonna lie.
Oh, the following week, yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, dominate the West.
They sweep the Cardinals this year.
Yeah,
I agree. I have no respect for them. All right, so now
this could be another trap game.
This one, Week 12.
Yeah.
But okay, so respect to the Carolina Panthers. I don't see them as a bad team like I think we used to. At least me personally. I think they're the way they finished out last season.
They did finish strong.
That was a statement stretch for them.
But will they be able to carry that over into this season without? I mean, to me, the key to stopping them offensively is taking away Chuba Hubbard. Like, that's their running back, and I forgot who else they signed because Jonathan Brooks is out for the season. And so if you can eliminate that run game, you're really putting the game on the young Bryce, which is what you need to do. Now, can he get the ball? They do got the big receiver in Ted McMillan over there. They still got Adam Thielen there. So he got weapons. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, I like their receivers.
But they don't have a tight end that I think moves the ball very well. And I feel like it's him making the play. He kind of gives me Caleb Williams vibes with a little better accuracy than Caleb Williams. And I feel like if you can take away that run and eliminate the run, if we're built to stop the run, I don't see him activating the offense against the 49ers defense. But if all that stuff doesn't go the way I just said, trap.
So this could be a trap game as well. I think
it's
too.
It's an NFC game. People are expecting them to be better. It's prime time. But I have us winning the prime time. I'm going to stick to my guns. I put that out on Twitter. I'm going to stick with it. 49ers find a way to win that on Monday Night Football at home.
I think so too. I think that's the key. Like, it's going to be a trap game where it's going to be closer than you feel like it should be. But at the end of the day, I do think the 49ers can pull that win out.
She said the franchise is a hot mess.
They kind of are. It's like sometimes you can't ignore history and just like what you inherently are. And
I just want Christian McCaffrey to say, "You motherfuckers traded me." You know what I mean?
I too. Well, he's played against them before since. Okay. You don't remember that
first
game?
Year, right?
It was at home. It was a home game, like what 2-3 years ago. It was the one where Bosa had like a pick six.
Okay.
Right.
I just don't remember.
Was on that team, right?
I just don't remember. I don't remember McCaffrey. I'm sure we did. I just don't remember it. But I don't remember him going off. But I feel like he's gonna.
I don't think he really went off. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that's gonna be a win. So we had him winning 3 games in a row from week 10 to 12.
That's a good stretch for the Niners. We're still in November. We said that this is the month.
True.
That Kyle is hot.
Hines says, "Don't overlook the cards." Well, for now, it's May, so I'll allow it.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm not sold on the cards, bro. They can do whatever they need to do, and I know that they beat us last year. I'm just not sold on them, though, Mike. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Niners lost a lot of games last year. If that makes any sense, you could call me a homer.
They did. Oh, they did.
But I feel like the Niners lost some of those games opposed to getting beat. You know what I mean? So. That's my theory on that. But getting to this next game, the Browns, ain't no way. Ain't no way. We losing to Kenny Pickett.
Is that their starting quarterback for real?
Well, I don't give a cool quarterback. It could be Kenny Pickett, Jesus. It could be whoever they want. It's a rookie. It's a first. We better not. We better not. We better not. I'm just saying, Kyle, whatever you do, and you got to remember, this might be an element game, right? It might be some snow on the ground. It might be wet and rainy. Ask me if I care. Brock Purdy, bad taste in his mouth. Last time we played this team in Cleveland, didn't go in the Niners' favor. And this is a game Jake Moody lost. Please, God, don't let it come down to that this time. But at the end of the day, I expect Brock Purdy to play a lot better than he did in that last game. He had a great last drive. But I expect him to be in a lot more rhythm. Remember that game? We lost deep. We didn't have deep.
That game pissed me off too.
Well, we lost Trent. We lost Debo.
Yeah. Let's hope the weather is better this time around too. Because didn't it rain?
It was weird. It was weird, inclement weather.
And it's November. It's late November. I mean,
I know.
Wild things could happen.
Yeah.
And
you go into the bye with a dub, right? So remember I said to you at the beginning of the show, they gotta dig deep because this game's going to come down to the trenches. They're going to have to dig deep, and I feel like they're going to dig deep enough to pull out the victory on the road so they can come back home and rest.
All right. I like that. We both have them getting.
I don't care about Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is missing his best, in my opinion, defensive player, unfortunately. He's going to be out for the season. So I expect the Niners to be better. Oh, but that will be an aggressive defense, and Kyle does struggle against aggressive defenses.
Just schematically, like, I think Schwartz has had Kyle's number.
Oh, 1,000%. That's why I said, like,
so, like, it hasn't even really mattered, like, the player so much. It's just the scheme.
Yeah, it's aggressive. Yeah, it's like Flores. They just aggressive with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to, for the audio listeners who aren't on the chat here, wanted to correct. McCaffrey was not on the team in that game I was referencing.
Okay, because I didn't remember. Because we would have remembered, Steph.
Okay, because you're saying he would have gone off.
Yeah, like,
you know what? That was one of my favorite games of this entire regime for some reason. Because I was at that game, and
was that the game Sanders went off?
Sanders who?
Emmanuel Sanders.
Did he? I don't know.
Isn't that when we got him?
It was like a scoring.
Because we mud stomped him, right? You're talking about that game.
We did.
I think that's the game we had got. I think that was Emmanuel Sanders' first game, and that's what made everybody say, "Oh, snap, Jimmy Garoppolo, the man." I might be wrong. It was Tevin Coleman that went off. My bad.
I just remember Bosa getting like a pick six. Like, when do you ever see that? It was like,
yeah, it was his rookie year.
Everything was great. Everything was great in that game. I was like, that was one of my favorite games.
And then we got CMC. No, we didn't have CMC in 2020. I don't know. I feel like 2019. I feel like I'm off.
It was like the following
year. Yeah, I'm
like
off.
A couple
Whatever.
years after that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back on track here. So week 14, we got the bye week. They can't lose that one.
December football. 3 games in December.
December football.
Interesting.
So week 15,
this
December 14th against the Titans. That has to be a win. Like, I don't. So you know what, Wayne? Cam Ward. If you were to face a rookie quarterback, regardless of who it is, I think you always want to face him early in the season. But now we're getting Cam Ward in week 15. By that point, he could very well be way more comfortable. And what do you want to say, Wayne? I can feel it.
If Kyle Shanahan, I don't care. If Kyle Shanahan, defense, Robert Saleh, if your defense loses to a rookie quarterback, it ain't going to be on Kyle. Robert, Bobby, listen. If your defense can't deal with a rookie quarterback, I don't care how well or gelling he's doing, better figure him out. Because I think everybody's expecting Cam Ward to kind of turn out like the kid from Washington, right? They're different. But I do like Cam Ward when he's on the move or whatever, but I'm not having that. Like that, not on this watch. Not because our defense needs to be gelling. Now, this is the first game coming off the bye week. We could be a little slow, sluggish, all that good stuff, but we're home. We're home. I don't want to hear it. Robert.
Coming off the bye week. Yeah.
Coming off the bye. Robert Bobby Saleh, have your team fierce and fired up and ready to go. That's all I'm going to say. 2022 is when we got see. I thought, yeah, right. But I felt like it was after the time we played them.
And we didn't even get Emmanuel till later that season.
I thought that, right, because that was early in the season. My bad.
That was early in the season. But you know what? That's what happens. Like, for one, I have terrible memory. And for two, like, we've been watching this regime or like this teams of this regime for a long time. So like a lot of the years just kind of blend together. All right. Week 16. I agree with you, Wayne. Week 15 is going to be a dub. Week 16 against the Colts, Monday Night Football. That has to be a dub. Like,
it's in a dome.
It's an away game, but
it's not no inclement weather. Give me the dub. Give me the dub. Like, take away Jonathan Taylor and murk everybody. Like, just give me the dub.
At this point, after week 16, you have them going 7 straight wins. I have them 6 straight wins.
Oh, we on a roll.
What we got in week 17 against the Bears?
How many losses I got so far?
You got 2. You better throw one in here because
yeah. I feel like we get swept by Seattle this year, unfortunately.
Really?
People gonna hate me.
Well, before we get to that one, Bears week 17.
I don't know if this is going to be a tough game, but I do like the Ben Johnson versus Kyle Shanahan,
Yeah,
kind of
that's
like
gonna
the
be fun.
beautiful minds of football, great play callers. I feel like the Niners will find a way to pull this one off at home. And I think this gives them their 14th win for the San Francisco 49ers, because you said I think you said I was at 13, if I'm not mistaken.
13 total. Yeah,
Yep.
you had given them 2 losses before.
Right. So I think this is where they get their 14th win. They seal the deal, and then they lose in week 18 because the game ain't gonna matter.
Because the game ain't gonna matter. Okay, so week 17, I'm gonna put that down as a loss because I could see this one being a little tougher than it should be. And the 49ers are gonna have -2 net rest because of the Monday night game that they're gonna be playing against the Colts, which we expect them to win. And not to mention that game against the Colts, they're gonna be traveling for, so even more. So yes, Sunday night football against the Bears, it's going to be tough, but I feel like with them, what we're expecting, having won so many games prior to that, like they're due for a loss at this point, right? Week
Yeah.
17, is later in the season. So I got to go into the Bears here. Week 18, I got the 49ers winning that one. I agree. It might be a game that does not matter, in which case I think that favors the 49ers. So I got the 49ers winning that one and splitting with Seattle. So I have the 49ers losing 4 games. You have them losing 3 games. So
14-3, which is weird because my initial number is 13-4, so I got to go back through this and see. But just
change your mind on.
I don't know if I'm gonna change my mind, but just on the spot, this is what I got. Like this is what I got, and I got 4-2 in the division. You can still win your division that way. And if they don't, there'll be a hell of a wild card team to have to play against. Or if they are a wild card team, their record is 14-3, so we'll see how that. But
that could be.
I still think they'll win their division at 4-2.
And I got them going 13-4. That's definitely a record that can win you the division. We'll see how it all shakes out in this season. But let's see what else you guys thought. Jack's got 17-0.
17-0.
Alex got 13-4. Okay, but he's ready to get hurt again. Same. Smitty says 12-5. Okay,
that's realistic.
And then John says, I predict pain. You know what?
Does he mean predicting inflicting the pain, or it being a painful season for the Niners?
It sounds like a painful season.
Okay, so see how interpretations work? Like I got the other opposite.
That's because you're so positive.
Yeah.
So positive, Wayne.
Yeah. No, I feel like they're gonna predict pain. Like I feel like the Niners are going to
inflict it. Yeah. They're gonna inflict pain.
9-8. That would be crazy. If the Niners go 9-8, man, we'll be the laughing stock of the season.
I'd be so disappointed if they went 9-8.
I think we all will. 14-3 is kind of wild, but I mean, I gave you my reasons. I just maybe we do lose that trap game to the Giants. That'll be back-to-back losses on the road, right? So maybe that would be, if I had to give it another loss, it could be that one. But then they go on that win streak, and then they lose again at the very end of the season because I don't think it's going to matter to them. 11-6, 10-7, all good predictions, man.
Yeah, and these are way too early predictions, so it's okay to be like overly optimistic or overly pessimistic. I guess either way.
Let's revisit this though. Once the 53-man rosters are set, you know what I mean, and we'll come back because, guys, God forbid, certain things happen in the preseason and things like that. Things can happen. So let's come back and revisit it. I think that would be cool, and then we'll just compare and see if we stay at the same spots.
Yep, exactly. I like that plan, Wayne. Let's do it. But for now, I feel good about the predictions that we gave. No shame in it at all. All right, so next, shifting gears a little bit, we're starting to hear some rumblings of Hard Knocks. This time of the year, we always get that, right? It's the question of which team is going to be the Hard Knocks team. And now we know, like, most teams can be forced to do it, And one thing that Tim K mentioned on Twitter earlier this week is he said, I've heard that the 49ers could be involved in NFC West in season Hard Knocks like they did with the AFC. I don't know what AFC Central is, but AFC teams, I guess, would be
I
the
know.
only way the 49ers would want those cameras and microphones around them.
Just north, south,
So in
east,
all NFC
west.
West, yeah, what is he talking about? AFC
I,
Central. But in any case, all NFC West in season Hard Knocks, I think would
maybe he
be
meant the
fun.
north.
It might have been North. I'm trying to think. I mean, because it wouldn't
the
it have been East? It was East because didn't the Dolphins do it?
Oh, you could be right, but okay, you could be right. It would have been the East, yeah.
Yeah.
But look, I'm all for it. I know some 49er fans don't like it, but I'm all for it. You know, it's exposure for the team. It may get players fired up. Like, why not? Why not be? We already had our own version of brick by brick, and they made it as positive as they can be. I think you're gonna get negativity from this, but this is the season where I would like everything to be exposed. I want to see us. I want to see more of the faithful. I want to gain more fans. I want to do all that type. I want this team to like really explode in the years to come. And you're playing it in a schedule in a division where it's gonna be a war. Like, you know, Arizona, as much as we talk about them, they're not gonna lay down. The Rams damn sure are not gonna lay down. They're the leaders of the division. And I got us getting swept by the Seahawks. Like I don't ever want to say that in my entire life again. Like, you know what I mean? So the NFC West is going to be might be the division to watch this year. I think all the teams are going to improve.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is an intriguing division, you know, for all the reasons that you mentioned. Like they're all kind of in, I don't want to say similar spots, like, but there's a lot of changes happening with those teams right now that I think make them interesting and good. They make them good to entertainment value, right? And you got the 49ers who they're going to be hosting the Super Bowl in Santa Clara this year. So that could already be one narrative that's going to be surrounding the team this year as part of like the Hard Knocks, you know, narrative and story that they want to tie into the season along with all the other changes, Salah back, you know. So I think from an entertainment standpoint with let's not forget, the NFL tells us they're an entertainment company. This is an entertaining team for 2025. In my unbiased opinion, I think, Wayne. So, and not just that, if we're bringing in all the other NFC West teams too, I think that could be very interesting. I know why people don't like it. I think we know Kyle would hate it.
For sure.
We know that. But you know, you remember the one season that, you know, you had both Kittle and Debo doing the receivers show for Netflix. So they had some cameras around for that. And so like they already got a taste of that and just seeing what that would be like. So maybe they'd be a little more comfortable with it this time around. Of course, you'd expand it to the entire team now, having cameras on them, but still, I think it'd be fun from a fan. I like to get inside looks into the team I root for.
Yeah, there's just so much more to see. I know the hardest part. I kind of think I understand the Kyle. Nah, man, I don't want to have to. It's hard. It's hard. It's this distraction. You got to fire players on camera. Like just and the Niners are notorious for letting players go, bringing them back, let them go. Like it would be crazy, right? But at the end of the day, look. If this is what the league is proposing, Kyle's going to have to figure out a way. So if the league says it's going to happen, then Kyle Shanahan is going to have to take on this adversity, and I expect him to make it work. Like, that's all I'm saying.
Right? Like, no excuses. You better make it work, right?
Take advantage of the cameras. Make it fun. Make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, they're going to turn the Niners into villains. Like that. This is what shows do. That's because the more you're villainized, the more you're watched. So be ready for it. But this can help the Niners bond together. It can just a lot of young kids too. So I'm for it. If it doesn't happen, great. If it happens, oh man, I got my popcorn ready.
Right. Like, again, from the entertainment standpoint, you know damn well, like, it's going to be entertainment.
I tweeted out, Steph, that if the Niners get this, it's going to break the internet. You know how many of us want to see some of the way things are said? Does Kyle Shanahan curse? Like, we already know he drinks. So at the end of the day, we want to know, like, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm
It might
saying?
be like it might be a positive thing. It might be a thing where we realize, like things aren't actually as
Peachy
bad
and
as
oh
we think it
yeah,
is, or the
yeah,
opposite. Like
oh
it
yeah.
could be the opposite, but that like, we could be like, you know what? Like I thought Kyle would be more like this. Like I had a certain impression on Kyle, but he's a little more
Loose.
relatable to his players,
Yeah,
you know, face to face. Like I get why he has these relationships with these players and they trust each other and all these things. Like, you know, like it's just a different perspective that I want to see. That's it. That's it. Pull the curtain back. Exactly. Yeah, I'm nosy as hell. And
he
let's not
nosy too. Don't let Ty fool you. He just is. He nosier than us. He is. He don't let him fool you. He want to know too, cause he gonna be right on there watching it with everybody else. Nosy.
right? Yeah, like unless you're not gonna be watching Ty.
Hell, he
But
gonna be watching. Everybody
I
gonna be watching it.
I,
But
I
the
want
cameras won't be on Kyle. That's the fun part, right? They're gonna be on the other coaches. We get to really hear Chris Kosaric fire it up. We already know he does it. You
yeah.
know, we get to get first take on Robert Saleh being back.
That would be so much
I
fun.
feel like he mean as and we don't never get to see it because he's always smiling.
Yeah, you want to see the mean side of him.
Yeah, like he's
That's
a
what Chris
defensive
Kosaric
coordinator.
is for.
Yeah,
That's what Chris Kosaric is for. Just
that's
yelling at
true.
dudes
That's his
constantly.
mean side. I got you.
Yeah.
But he's only Costa can only yell at the front, the line.
True.
Can't yell at the whole defense. That's where Saleh comes in.
Right, that's what I'm
We
saying.
we
We're
say
trying
we
to get-
want our coaches to be interactive with players. Well, here we go. We don't want the Steve Wilkes in the phone booth anymore. You know, we want the on the field spit flying out the mouth live action. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me. It's WWE. I'm for it.
You know, if the 49ers or the NFC West just does get chosen for this, you know, we're gonna take it in stride and we'll be watching. We'll be tuning in. But if you don't hate it, or if you do hate it, then don't watch. Don't watch. That's it. All right, Wayne. Couple of I guess just things to go over here before we head on out. So DJ Humphries, you remember offensive tackle who was a free agent that the 49ers had supposedly signed. Like we saw that report, right? We're not crazy. That came through. Apparently it's reported that he did not sign. And yes, you are absolutely correct. His own agent is the one that announced it back in April 29th that the two sides had agreed on a deal. And this is coming from a report that Matt Maiocco put out in a piece. He said, quote, but that contract was not finalized and nothing appears imminent. Humphrey remains a free agent after appearing in just 2 games during the 2024 season due to injuries. So all in all, it didn't end up happening. And I don't think this is such a big deal, Wayne. Like sometimes this stuff happens. I thought it was weird that his agent maybe jumped the gun. I don't know. Like, I feel like you don't make those announcements until you've put pen to paper or your client has put pen to paper and it's done. Like,
yeah, it's just weird.
It's weird.
That's all it is. It's just weird energy. Players recant all the time. Maybe he thought he was gonna sign. The agent probably said, "Oh, the Niners deal is here. Are you ready to sign?" Maybe the agent got something from his client. You know what my issue is? And I don't see anything. I don't really. This doesn't not a big deal. My issue is then why didn't Humphreys recant it from the jump? As soon as my agent put it out, why don't you come back and say, "Oh no, I didn't do that." Recant that. And then the agent could have put out, "My apologies, blah 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 blah, such and such and such." I don't know why it took a Matt Maiocco report to break this news, which kind of makes whoever look like the bad guy. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not a big deal. The Niners already showed that they were going to be adding to the offensive line. They added 2 other offensive linemen. We're not even talking about those guys that they signed. I mean, that's what's important. I can care less who they don't sign. But I want to talk about who we did sign. So we got Nicholas Petit-Frere, and we got another offensive lineman, another left tackle. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. So they are making moves to bring guys in to see what they're going to do. I don't know if that has to do with Trent Williams or whatever, but at the end of the day, this guy's not a 49er. He can literally kiss my – I don't really care. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. And like I don't really care. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like people are trying to figure out what happened here. Like something shady happened. Like It doesn't matter. Like possibly, but like, does it really matter? Like, who cares? Stuff like this happens all the time. It's like Shark Tank, Wayne. It's like you see the deals on the show, like they agree to something,
but
and then
the
literally
product never comes out.
And sometimes they don't actually get a deal done, like where they, actually sign the paperwork. If you watch Shark Tank, they literally have a disclosure for that now, where it's like these deals are not like final
finalized.
And like they got to go through all this other stuff. Yeah, it's
I didn't
this
know
stuff
that.
doesn't just happen with handshakes. You know what I mean?
Now this is business. Like
Steve-O says he's seen that state tax.
There you go. Way to turn it into something.
You know what?
Comedic like that. That could be actually the reason. He was like, "Oh hell no."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It hits different when you see it. When you see the subtraction happen.
That check say one thing, and then the state tax take out a chunk of that. You like, oh, nah, I'm Gucci.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Good job,
that very
Steve.
well could have been
Steve-O.
what happened. That's all funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of money and deals, though, Jed York is selling 6% stake of the 49ers. His own stake that he's selling off. It's going to be 3 families that are going to own that 6%, with a valuation of $8.5 billion. So that's and the 6% stake is or I guess the 8.5 million is a record sports team valuation. Like that's wild. To me, this changes nothing like as far as the product on the field, but just passing the news along in case you guys care about that sort of thing. But
I mean, so he still owns 94% of this team.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
this is him making money. Like this is strictly business. Like this does nothing to the team.
What everyone's talking about is like he's already pinching his pennies, and he's tightened up the wallet a little bit, and now he's doing this. And then meanwhile, he bought like that soccer team, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So people are like, is this connected? Like, is that why he's selling or trying to make more money so that he can put it into the soccer team?
I see. It's business, guys. Like it's investing, flipping, investing, flipping, investing, getting other people to invest. So if I can give you 6%, sell it, I just put cash in my pocket. I can take that, I can invest it, I can flip it. It's just business.
It's just rich people things, man.
Hey, man, I mean, hell, I ain't rich, but I tell you what, if I get my hand on a pair of Jordans that I know I ain't gonna wear and I know you can't get, I'm gonna flip it.
Flip it.
Flip it.
Business 101.
101.
Hey, let's go. All right, Wade, I've had a lot of fun with you. This was a fun show. We are going to revisit our predictions. You had 14-3.
I can't believe I had 14-3. Damn, that one snuck me. All right.
You're like, damn, I didn't know I was that optimistic.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it, though. I like it. 14-3, 13-4. It's a good number. So we'll revisit it, at some point later this off season, maybe sometime during the season. But yeah, this was a fun episode. Appreciate everyone that tuned in, everyone in the comments. You guys kept the live chat lit. Appreciate you. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Not just mine, but Wayne's as well. Follow us on Twitter too. Yeah, I'm going to still call it Twitter. And audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. But for now, have a good Friday. Have a good weekend, folks. Stay safe out there. Touch some grass. Peace.